Hello there, this is Cookies. I have turn 33 of Imanaba. I'm going to go ahead and re-record this turn as well. There's a throne battle in it, which is pretty fun, but I don't think the original version should deviate too much from this version. So we'll go ahead and re-record it to give a little bit better audio, and let's go ahead and dive into it. So we got a message from Abyssia, which is pretty funny. I've been trading him for a lot of his fire gems, so definitely a little addicted. And speaking of that, we get 20 fire gems this turn. I think I do a combination of trading research boosters and other gem types, particularly nature and maybe glamour to Ballin. I think it's mostly nature to Ballin. But yeah, and then we go ahead and awaken a couple of gen blocks, and then we have a dire portent. So he's put up Mother Oak, and we'll have to take a look at that because it's kind of funny. And then there's two battles this turn. So first up in Bay Pond, we have Abyssia's mercenary force, and then I guess this is like a little like core in the back of his own troops, but mostly it's the swordsman mercs. They're going to be doing the fighting. And they just run into a little bit of PD. Not a big deal. So, looks like two of the swordsmen die. Probably to, oh, I guess to PD. They do get 2 kills. In Eol, though, Vanarus goes after a throne. So this is an enchantress throne. So we've got a few of them here. And let's take a look at this. So we've got one enchantress with some gems. A couple more with some gems. There's an enchanted ringmail armor he could try to loot. He has a blade of grass thug. So 20 damage blade of grass. Pretty funny little weapon. And then he's also facing up an Etten with a 39 damage great club. So in terms of the formation here, not the greatest indie formation. Their infantry and their vine ogres are holding back their heavy cav. Vine ogres are speed 12, infantry are speed 10. So what's going to happen is the vine ogres are going to move forward faster, and then the cavalry are going to come through in a line. So that's not great for the independents because they're not going to get a broad front with their heavy cav. In terms of the Vanarus formation, he's got a Fuse the Maze back here, probably for some sort of point buffing. He's also got his Thug back here, so maybe he's going to try to do a little bit of maybe like a group buff with this Earth Gem. Then he's got a mix of Sacreds and Chewed Herdmen. Looks like on both flanks. So the elites are on the flanks. A kind of softer center with these Amazons backed up by archers, but should do pretty well on the flanks and then should be able to win in the center regardless. And he does have enough stuff to probably hold the line in the center. Let's go ahead and see how this goes. So we've got some group Barkskin, Poison Ward. For this little group, protection from fire, personal flight, summon earth power, and gift of giant strength. So pretty good buff for thugs, although it looks like he cast it on himself in this version in one of the Zamays. So heavy cav made contact. Better contact than what I've seen in the prior recording that I did. Very nice fire magic. Gets a sort of general route there. Let's go ahead and see how his commanders are doing. So, looks like a perfect fight. No commander losses. No mage losses. Alright. let's see how it actually went. So in the actual battle, he loses 3 Viadunes. And I believe what happens is some Vine Ogres sneak around on his left flank, and they get into some of the mages and they kill a few of them. I've got that. I think I've got some version of that battle that's pretty accurate. It might not be that same patch, but if you're interested in seeing it, go ahead and let me know. I can publish that one too. But yeah, so he does in fact take some mage losses. That hurts, but not too bad. Loses 2 of the Zamays, 1 Sacred. All of this stuff is pretty recoverable. And he gets a throne for his efforts. In terms of events, we get some reasonable, like, good events. A few fire gems, love to see that. And some extra PD, that's nice. Conjuration rituals are cheaper, so we'll have to check to see if I take advantage of that. And let's dive into the rest of the turn. All right, so it is conjuration season, and with conjuration, maybe I should be doing some contact gen. We'll have to check. All right. So it looks like I'm throwing out a couple of auguries, desperately trying to get my fire income up. It's still at just my capital income. So I haven't found any fire income yet. I've done a fair amount of site searching for it too. Just haven't had any luck. I'm up at 5 air gems though, which is pretty nice. I think that's where's that coming? I think some of that is coming from here, foaming waves. And trying to figure out where else I'm getting that air income. In these mist-covered highlands. There's a copper idol here, and nope, not there. And a copper idol down here. So we've got some okay air income for this point in the game, but the fire income's pretty bad. So yeah, we're doing augury, trying to find some of that. We're also going to do contact gen using the discount from this turn. So we're going to get 3 gen. So spending down some of the fire gems we've traded for. We're also going to get a couple of gem blocks. I forget if I don't get a discount on those. I just have a really good earth income. I don't mind getting some gem blocks. We're going to go ahead and forge a sanguine dowsing rod here, and this lady has started blood hunting. So she's got some Jan bodyguards. We've rolled another lucky blood 2 random on the garnets as we continue garnet production. And we've got a few patrollers, but not enough. So we'll have to increase the number of patrollers. I still have not figured out that this Malika should move to Glannis. So still making some mistakes there. I've got a couple of Malika here. One of those should probably also move to Glannis. But at least I have a lot of Veil Army. I just don't think I've noticed it at this point in the game. Or I'm not taking proper advantage of it. So as soon as these Malika figure out they can move to Glannis, I'll get a bigger patrolling group there. We're also forging some earth boots, contacting another gen here. So really looking to increase our mage numbers. I believe this is a bunch of Janguard. Yeah, that's why it's moving so slow. As we slowly start meandering to the other end of the Empire. And also forging an Elkwill. It's probably a good time to talk about the throne situation in terms of the strategic picture. So the throne situation is kind of actually interesting, and it plays a lot into the diplomacy for this game. So this throne's going to be going to Pyrene, this one's going to be going to Vanarus, and that's primarily because I don't want to fight one of the top 2 players at the moment, especially while I'm starting to spin up my blood eco. So what that's going to mean then is Vanarus will have 2 thrones because he just took 1. And Pyrene should have 2 thrones. Ulm's going to have 3 thrones. Now you need 7 to win. So out of these 3 nations, if one of them conquers the other 2, they win the game. So we do have to pay attention to relations between Ulm, Pyrene, and Vanarus. It's okay for them to fight, but it may not necessarily be okay for one of them to win. Now, for Pyrene, any path to victory probably does include Ulm. But after that, they could fight Vanarus, but they'll have to make it all the way across Vanarus, sort of, to get at these 2. So maybe an easier target for them would be trying to go after these 2 thrones here and doing a sort of broad invasion against man. When it comes to Vanarus and their path to victory, there's 3 thrones underground. So those are pretty appealing. Those would probably replace a war with Ulm. So he might try to take the underground at some point. And then he could fight Pyrene to get his win, because these 2 thrones are reasonably close to the border. Or he could opt to go the other way, but it would be a bit obscene for him to try and take this man throne, and there's just this one Asphodel throne here. So for Vanarus, it's probably underground and attacking Pyrene as a path to victory. For Pyrene, I think Ulm's a little on the small side right now. So while their independence is important, I'm not particularly worried about them winning the game at this point. Now, what that means is Vanarus and Pyrene both have very real paths to victory, but I think it involves 2 wars for them. So I get plenty of opportunities to intervene. And that puts me in a kind of unique spoiler case where I have to try and keep the balance of power between these 2 while expanding myself and trying to move myself up the ranks. But at the moment, I don't really have a big path to victory. I'd almost certainly have to war Pyrene for this throne, war Vanarus for this throne, maybe this one as well. That would give me 3 for my own path to victory. I'd probably also have to take the underground for 3 more, and then maybe this man throne. And that's just really unrealistic at this point. I'd have to fight 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players. And there's plenty of opportunities for a sort of anti-Nabok coalition to form during that and to interrupt my ability to do that. So at this point, I'm kind of starting to put that together, that I'm going to be playing a little bit more of a spoiler role in this game. Granted, I'll keep trying to improve my position, but it's going to be very difficult for me to win. So, but as someone in the spoiler role, while I have a very slim chance of winning, I also have what I consider a pretty slim chance of dying. Now, true, I could get 2v1'd and they could just try to partition me, but any war against me does not net the invading powers any thrones, so it doesn't help them get closer to winning. It would just get them more land and make them look scarier. So I've got that going for me. I would be annoying to invade because I have a lot of stealthy glamour assassin stuff, especially if I start getting Shaitans going. And so that, I think, makes it very unappetizing to attack me. And so because I'm in a position where if I'm a free agent, I can interfere in someone else with someone else, I'm also not really worth invading. It leads to, I think I help contribute to a little bit of stagnation in this part of the world, where Pyrene and Vanarus have to be very careful about what conflicts they engage in, and because I could backstab fairly easily and they don't necessarily gain a lot from invading me. They won't gain much gem income. They'll gain a fair amount of just normal income, but yeah, there's just not a whole lot of upside to fighting me. I don't think I would be an easy war, even if Anarus or Pyrene could beat me. So, um, so while we've got first wars generally mostly wrapped up, these two forts are under siege. They won't take long. Um, uh, it could set up for a little bit of stagnation in this part of the world because neither player may necessarily feel like they can do things unless I'm also doing something because of my potential to backstab. And then meanwhile, in this part of the world, we have the Hell War between Man and Asphodel, and we have the war between Bandarlog and the underground nations, Agartha and Abyssia. So, and I guess the side benefit of that is it should give me a clear path into the mid game and potentially the late game. So I'm looking forward to being able to develop a pretty cool blood economy. Maybe that'll shake things up for me at some point in the future. Maybe I can pick some interesting wars to fight. And I can also work on just trying to explore the nation of Nabab a bit more. And maybe I can bring you some of those findings. Maybe you can get some of your own learnings without necessarily having to play them into the mid and late game. And hopefully that helps. So I'll go ahead and see you in the next one. Have a good one. Later.